So we are going to present about the origin of the universe, Big Bang Theory, the origin of our solar system, and life itself. So just to begin with a short introductory video. So as it was shown in the video, the universe actually began as a very small point. An infinitely small point with infinite energy within. So what happened was, all of a sudden, it just started expanding, and after billions of years of expansion, that's where we are today. So why did it start expanding? Nobody knows about it. That's why it's called a singularity. I mean, the point which originally existed had no laws of physics that we know of, so that's why it's called a singularity. And the history of this expansion is called as Big Bang Theory, and it was originally proposed way earlier, but scientifically it was proven in 1960s by Edward Hubble and Georges Lemaitre. But before that, probably 10,000 years ago, it was present. This concept was explained in Vedic Astrology. Vedic Astrology is nothing but a part of Hindu philosophy, which is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm just going to show you a small clip about that. So yeah, that was basically Vedic astrology. So since it's not scientifically proven, it's not accepted in the science community yet, but most of the concepts these guys are trying to prove have already been written over there. So that's kind of amazing how they actually knew it back then. So this is basically how our universe came into existence. So this was the origin of our universe. It was a very small point with infinite energy in it, and then all of a sudden it just started expanding, and it's been 13 billion years since this explosion took place. And so coming to black holes, what are black holes? Black holes are it's an energy that can essentially just bring everything in this universe to a small point. Just compress everything there is into a small point. So that is actually the force behind the Big Bang theory. What happens is when a black hole, this black hole is also called as dark energy. So what happens is whenever it comes across an object, it just takes it in, and the energy is dissolved within it. That's proof of existence. Whenever matter is consumed, it emanates radiation. So science has proven that these black holes do exist. So what about the future of our universe then? Black holes are everywhere around the universe. So eventually what's going to happen is these black holes are going to consume everything within the universe and go back to the original state it came from. So that means since our universe, right now our universe is expanding, but eventually it's going to come down to a single point, and the cycle is going to restart. But there is a controversy involving Big Bang theory. It assumes that the universe existed at a very minute point, but the problem is who created that point? I mean, spiritually speaking, God created this point, but again, who created God? So nobody knows answers to these questions. In fact, the universe is considered to be an expanding balloon, but what lies outside that balloon, again, nobody knows about it. What caused the Big Bang? Of course, nobody knows what caused the expansion. And another question is, we are only aware of our universe, so consider an expanding balloon. So, but is there anything outside this balloon? Are there other balloons? Are there other universes outside this? So Priyanka is going to take over from here.
I would like to talk about the origin of the solar system. First, I would like to take an overview of the solar system and what it consists of. The solar system basically consists of the 4 terrestrial planets, or the inner planets, including Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. They're called terrestrial because they are very dense and are made of iron and other metals. And the asteroid belt, which is present in between Mars and Jupiter. Asteroids are nothing but rocky and metallic objects that orbit the sun, but they're too small to be called as planets. And there are 4 gas giants, or outer planets, including Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These are called gas giants because they're made of lighter weight elements including hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon and helium. And the solar system also consists of the dwarf planets, including Pluto, which was once considered as a planet. The International Astronomical Association reclassified it as a dwarf planet because the definition of the planet was again reformed. So based on that, Pluto was now considered as a dwarf planet, along with Eris and Sirius, the other dwarf planets now. There are plenty of theories explaining the origin of the universe. Initially, in the past, the Earth was considered as the center of the universe, let alone the solar system. So this was the assumption that was the basis for the creation of the solar system. But right now, after a lot of scientific analysis of data and experimentation, we have actually a few properties of the universe which we got right. The properties are that the sun is the center of the solar system. The planets move around the sun in a counterclockwise direction as viewed from the north pole of the Earth, and the placement of the small rocky worlds are nearest to the sun while the large gas giant planets are farther out. And the fact that all the planets appear to have formed around the same time as the sun, so obviously the solar system has formed all at once, and the chemical composition of the sun and planets appear to have some kind of relation, and also there is existence of comets and asteroids in the solar system. So there is just one theory that actually meets all these requirements in the all these requirements that I've stated. So this theory is nothing but the Solar Nebula theory. This theory suggests that the solar system was formed from collapsing of a molecular gas cloud around 4.5 billion years ago. So basically a large molecular gas cloud that was several light years in diameter was basically disturbed by a nearby explosion of a supernova explosion or some kind of a star passing by, creating a gravitational disturbance. So due to this disturbance, what happened was the cloud started to clump together, with the center part being the densest. So containing 99.9% of mass, the object became a protostar. Protostar is nothing but a phase of star's life. So after 50 millions of the star being a protostar, what happened was the temperature started to increase to millions of degrees of centigrade, and this instigated the nuclear fusion reaction. So nuclear fusion reaction is nothing but when the two nuclei combine to form a huge nuclei, releasing enormous amount of energy and photons. Photons is nothing but light. Now, the star is basically radiating enormous amount of energy due to the nuclear fusion reaction, and also enormous amount of photons. So now, the gravitational pull would have collapsed the star, but the energy of the fusion has balanced it, creating a hydrostatic equilibrium. The object is now called our sun. So as a smaller material collided together in this cloud, they started to form block of a larger material. Eventually, these objects became very large and spherical under the influence of gravity. So these are our planets. And there was actually a problem with the solar nebula theory, because the kind of properties that I've mentioned before applied only to our solar system, because other solar systems actually had a different structure. The presence of larger gas giants like were actually closer to the sun, in conflict with the solar nebula theory that said the larger gas giants were away from the sun. So the point of evidence for this was that the structure of our solar system is supposed to be very unique and stable. So that's the reason this theory applies only to our solar system and not to the other solar systems. Thank you. The next topic will be taken by Srija.
Here I am going to explain about the life come from. There are two ways of explaining where life comes from. They are the theory of evolution and the view of a Bible. The theory of evolution is nothing but those who believe in the theory of evolution says that the first life came from into existence 4 to 5 billion years ago as a result of billions of years of accident, random atomic collision. Scientific call this development of first living organisms from non-living matters. And second experiment is a view of a Bible, that is a God created life. Here we will offer a short introduction in the topics of life origins. Life on earth. No one knows how or why life began. We know that life on the earth started at least 3 to 4 billion years ago. By this time the young planet had cooled and formed a rocky crust. Some scientists believe life began in an ocean. Others think it may have arrived from the space with comets and asteroids. As far as we know, Earth is the only place where life is found. Everywhere we look on our planet, bacteria and other simple life forms have made a home. Plants and animals need sunlight to grow. Until the 1970s, scientists thought the life only existed near the Earth's surface. Since then, bacteria had been discovered several kilometers underground inside the solid rock. They live on gases and minerals in the rock. Bacteria have also been found in strong acids in the freezing cold of Antarctica and near hot springs in the dark depth of the ocean. And some can even survive in highly radioactive places. As long as the water is available, life is able to grab a foothold. The most likely place is our solar system is Mars. coming to life beyond Earth, Mars was once warmer and wetter than it is today. Pictures sent back by the Mars Express and other spacecraft shows a huge channels that look dry rivers beds. Okay, the question is where did the water go? A small amount of it locked up in the polar ice caps. Some escaped into spaces, but much of it is frozen into the soil and rock. It is possible that life began on Mars billions of years ago when it was warm and wet. Today the surface is too cold and dry to support life. However, some scientists think that simple life as a bacteria may still exist deep underground. Has also Curiosity rover. It is called as a robotic rover. Was sent on the mission to return rock and soil samples for the scientific study of the rock and minerals to examine of Mars. Apart from the Mars, life may exist in ice-covered oceans on some of the moons of the Jupiters. And Titan, the largest moon of the Saturn, is also a very interesting place. Scientists think Titan is like the young Earth, only much colder. This is a presentation about how university coming to exist.
Very good. Thank you. Questions? Answers? Yes.
Why do they consider the moon like a small Earth or an older Earth?
It's Titan. Titan's moon.
Like, does it have like life and stuff like we have? I guess I just
Yeah, it's got a dense atmosphere like we have. It's got water. It's supposed to be, the atmosphere is supposed to be thick over there. So that's what's supposed like on Earth. So they believe that there might be life on Titan as well. They don't have a definite proof of it, but
It
from
doesn't have
what
like trees or anything on it?
No.
no,
Okay.
it's very cool to support that. But there might be other creatures like small, not intelligent creatures as such, but maybe small bacteria.
Very good. Another question? Yes.
So, Big Bang Theory, it involves expanding energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the laws of physics state that energy cannot be created.
Exactly.
So how is the Big Bang Theory still a theory?
So what they assume in Big Bang Theory is that it's actually been proven as well. That small point had infinite amount of energy. So as it began expanding, energy became distributed. So there was no energy created or destroyed in the process. The energy already existed. It just kept on distributing.
How do they know that?
They have some scientific proof about it. I'm not sure. There are a lot of equations that prove this. I think Schrodinger's equation goes a little bit into the deeper side. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this.
Other questions? Other answers?
The point of origin, right? How big do they think that was, or would they say
The
that?
point of
was-
origin was
Yeah.
infinitely small.
Okay.
That's what they think.
It's smaller than an atom actually.
Okay.
Smaller than an atom.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it had infinite energy. That's what it is. So it just began expanding. Yeah, it's been a very controversial topic. It's a lot of religions actually connect this spiritually as well. It's the Vedas, in the video of Vedic Astrology, astronomy, they say that the greater force that created this universe was God. So basically, how God came into existence was people back then did not understand what created the universe. So that they just mentioned this greater force as God, and that's where God has evolved in many forms in our imagination.
But scientifically, how would they justify that this infinite like a very small thing, and it has infinite energy in it? How can you put infinite amount of anything in an infinitely small thing? I mean, just whatever it is. I mean, scientifically,
Because
how can you contain something infinite into something very finite?
Einstein has actually proven this equation, right?
Proven
Yeah,
it?
it's got a scientific proof as well. Matter can be destroyed or created. So according to this theory, when the Big Bang was created, when the Big Bang did happen, no matter was created.
No matter was created.
No matter, matter is
It
essentially
was already
energy.
there.
Matter is essentially energy. It's just convertible. So whatever matter just gets, matter just gets converted into energy. So when the universe began, it had this fixed amount of energy, and it just got distributed. That's
So
what it
all this amount of minerals and rocks
Yeah.
and mountains
It was
in
all-
the Earth and in other planets and all these big masses
Mhm.
were all
In one tiny spot.
and Einstein proved that.
Yeah.
You're talking about the theory of relativity there, right? E equals mc squared, right?
Theory of relativity is another thing.
Because energy equals mass times the speed of light
Yeah.
squared, right?
Yeah.
So, mass and matter are different, right?
Mass and matter. Mass is a form of matter.
So if mass is a form of matter, that's saying energy is mass. But that's still a theory, because it's yet to be proven or disproven.
It has been proven. Well, that's what we follow
And why is it still
on
a
a
theory?
day-to-day basis.
I'm just
Oh, the Big Bang theory?
No, the theory of relativity.
Theory of,
That's
there
still
is,
a theory.
there is a proof of, I think it's just called, there is a concrete proof that relativity exists. We actually use relativity for our space missions in day-to-day aircrafts. So,
Okay. I'm just sorry.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah, done? Okay. Thank you very much.